With only 8 weeks to go to Christmas, this is a perfect time to make your mincemeat for your mince pies. With a big mixing bowl, various utensils and the jars to put it in, but mainly we need mixed fruit, we need some suet, we need some mixed peel, some sugar, cooking apples, oranges, lemons, and the spices. We've got cinnamon, we've got mixed spice, and we've got some nutmeg. I'm going to show you how to make the perfect mincemeat for your mince pies. I'm going to start by putting all the dry ingredients in the bowl. We need to measure out 500 grams of mixed fruit. So I can't put any mixed fruit, just all together. You can separate it into raisins, sultanas, whatever. But we need 800 grams in total. And we need the whole of this suet. This is what holds it all together and gives it that lovely silky smoothness. And then we need 350 grams of soft brown sugar. And then we need 225 grams of candied peel. So now we've got all our dry ingredients in. I'm going to give it a big stir. Should maybe have used a bigger bowl. I don't have a bigger bowl. And it will start to come together. You can see it all mixing in. At this point we can add our spices. So we just need half a teaspoon of cinnamon. I like cinnamon. And 4 teaspoons of mixed spice. Then I've got some nutmeg here, which I'm going to quickly grate into it. Just to give that lovely authentic flavour, you can see there coming across. And again, give it all a big mix. And then we're going to do the wet ingredients. So the wet ingredients are going to be the juice of the 2 oranges and the 2 lemons, all the apple chopped up, and we're going to grate the rind of the lemons and the oranges as well, just for some zingy flavour. Okay, put that one side. Okay, so we've got the fruit and the suet and the sugar in there with all the spices. What I'm going to do now is I've grabbed a handful of almonds, because I'm going to add a bit of crunch and a bit of texture in there. So I'm just going to roughly chop them. Don't want them to be too small. We want to still be able to taste them, but we also don't want huge chunks of them in there. So that's the almonds roughly chopped. Obviously, if you have a blender, you could do that more easily. But it's just there to add a bit of consistency, a bit of flavour and texture. Next, we're going to prepare the fruit. So we're going to grate the zest of the oranges and the lemons, using the smallest thing of the block grater. These are obviously unwaxed. Right, so you've taken most of the zest of the orange, and all we're going to do is literally chop it in half. And get the juice out. If you don't have one of these juicers, you can just squeeze it over your hand so that you grab any pips that fall out of it. Else you'll be forever getting pips out of the mixture if you just put it straight in there. So I've peeled and chopped the apple, and the apple is now in there. All it needs now is to give it a good old stir. Make sure absolutely everything is covered with absolutely everything. You can see it's actually getting less even though you've added more, because it's all starting to amalgamate and join in together. So we've got all the dried fruit, we've got the nuts, we've got the spices, we've got the orange juice, lemon juice and the zest, and also the cooking apple. So everything's really well seasoned and it's really well stirred in. What we're going to do now that everything, you can see everything's coated with it all, we're now going to leave it as it is. We're going to cover it up with a brand new clean tea towel, and we're going to leave it for 12 hours. So in the morning, so overnight I'll leave it, and tomorrow morning I'll put it in the oven, but I'll talk to you about that then. So I've rested this overnight now. Take the lid off, you can see that it's all, you can see actually the juice is coming out there. I'm going to give it a quick stir again, just to make sure it's all there. Then I'm going to cover it in foil, and it's going to go in the oven for 3 hours at 120 degrees. And what that's going to do is going to cook some of this suet in here, which will start to absorb some of the moisture and stop it fermenting over the course of the 8 weeks or so you're going to leave it, stop it getting alcoholic. While the mixture's cooling in the oven, so it's been baking for 3 hours and now it's just cooling down to room temperature, I'm going to make sure that these jars are ready for it. So these are what it's going to go in. I've got a bigger one and a smaller one. They've both got the orange seals or the sealing rubber strips to make sure that when it's closed it's nice and tight. But also I'm going to cover them up with using these things. So these are beeswax wraps. So I made them myself. You can check out my other YouTube. But if you don't have any of these, and these are kind of the perfect size, you can just use some non-stick baking paper. Just cut it out and put it in there. What we're going to do is when we fill it up, we're going to put these on top and seal it there, so it's got the nice seal and it's there and it's all sealed properly. So I've literally just got this out of the oven. So it cooked for 3 hours, and I left it to cool in the oven for 4 or 5 hours as well. So it's just warm to the touch, and you can see, looking at it, all the suet has melted and it's all lovely and glossy. Now the final ingredients, I might say the most important, is some lovely brandy. So we're going to add 6 tablespoons of brandy into this and give it a good old stir. When it comes to the end, you're literally just making sure that you're getting every last little drop, all the liquid, everything else. So there you have your filled jars of mincemeat. So what I'm going to do now is just quickly clean around the top here, purely because I'm really messy. And then you're going to seal it using one of these beeswax wraps, as I said before. If you haven't got those, just use baking powder, and literally it is in there, and that is good to go. So this now stays in a dark cupboard for 8 weeks, but it can last up to 3 years, so it'll be good for the Christmas